dazzling with a bright and brilliant material civilization. On the other hand, people will be enslaved to the material power, material civilization, and the power of the material civilization will control human beings, and human beings become simply as slaves to the material civilization. And I think you would agree with that now. How many people are killed on highways every year? In America alone, still about 40,000 people killed. 250,000 people maimed, paralyzed every year. It used to be like 60,000 20 years ago. It went down, but still close to 40,000 people are killed on highways. By what? This fun on wheels. You know, it's fun to drive a car, but the human spirit cannot catch up with the material power. So human spirit become weaker and cannot control the material power. And that's the cause of all the death. Not only that, we polluted the earth, air, and the water. And because of that, all kinds of disease, you know, some incurable disease develop. And we suffer all over the world. This is what Grand Master Sotasan saw upon his enlightenment in 1916. And so he thought there should be a way which will direct the people all over the world so that they could save themselves from the harsh material power. And he opened this WonBuddhism. However, all by himself couldn't do it. You know, Jesus Christ had 12 epistles. Yongjin, what do you call it? 12 disciples. Epistles. Disciples. You know, it was epistle. The disciples who spread Jesus Christ's teaching. In WonBuddhism, those 9 disciples, they were mostly peasants. Only education they got was Confucian Chinese classics. Very poor, but they somehow followed Sotasan because of Grand Master Sotasan. Before enlightenment was judged to be a lost soul. For years, ever since he was 8 years of age, he was searching for the truth, until he was 25 years of age. And at the age of 25, American age, Korean age is 26, okay? You know how it goes in Korea? If you're born on New Year's Eve, you're already 1 year old. And sleep a few hours, next morning, New Year's Day, you're 2 years old. You know, that's the way. I think that's better, you know. But anyway, when he was 25 years of age, he had a great enlightenment. We celebrate the Day of Enlightenment in April, and then this August the 28th, actually, we celebrate the Day of Dharma-Authentication. By the intent and utmost sincerity, these 9 disciples will gladly sacrifice our lives if this is necessary for the opening of a new religious order which will direct the world and save the sentient beings from the misery. And how can human beings save themselves from the harsh material civilization? The only way is to strengthen your spiritual power. You know, spiritual power? Ask yourselves, how strong is your spiritual power? When there's something tempting, do you surrender to your desire? If somebody makes you angry, you explode into anger, then your spiritual power is very weak. All over the world, even great leaders of the country, their spiritual power is very weak. I mean, moral sense. Moral sense is very weak. They have a great knowledge, technology, science, however, they have very weak moral sense. That's what is meant by spiritual power. And if you have the weak spiritual power, you cannot have a happy family life. You cannot. You become selfish, stupid, and so on. So, Grandmaster Sotaesan's view of the new world was this. Eventually, when he opened the Order of WonBuddhism, he had 4 pillars, or the fundamental principles. The first 2 are so important. What is the purpose of opening a new religious order? To save the sentient beings, living beings, and to cure the world of moral ills. And what is the most harmful moral ills in the world? Resentment. Resentment. Anger, resentment. And the world is full of resentment, even now. You know, between nations, between religions too. You agree? Resentment, hatred. That is what is called the moral ills of the world. So his idea was we have to change the life of resentment to the life of gratitude. If you know how to change the life of resentment to the life of gratitude, you change our hell to our paradise. Family life too. You resent to your father, wife, husband, resentment. And that is the cause of all unhappiness, troubles at the family. So you must learn always how to change something to resent to the source of gratitude. If you know how to do it, you can change, really, our hell to our paradise. And that's the meaning of the saying, the whole world is the creation of your own mind. I mean, spiritual power. If your spiritual power is weak, you cannot create a happy world, happy life. What does that mean? When somebody makes you angry, you simply surrender. That means your spiritual power is very, very weak. And simply resent. And you know, among individuals, societies, classes, nations, as long as this resentment exists, you feel vividly now resentment among the nations, don't you? Still going on even today there in Georgia. You know, Russia there, let alone like Osama bin Laden and all those. That's all the result of resentment, hatred, anger. Grandmaster Sotaesan saw this. We have to change the way of life. And he said, well, of course, there are all kinds of crooks and so on, but look, it all depends how you look at it. Human beings are not Buddhas, not gods. They are vulnerable. So we have to train human beings too, so that they can change the way of life from all the time complaining, doing something wrong, resenting and so on, to, you know, become altruistic, benevolent, helping others. On the other hand, the first pillar, the fundamental principle was correct enlightenment and right practice. Correct enlightenment, enlightenment to what? To the ultimate truth of the universe, including human lives. If you're enlightened, you know what you are, who you are, where you are going, and so on. Enlightenment